citizens of America or citizens of the world that us begin.
Rainier Avenue Radio. Rainier Avenue Radio.
The biggest losers in the Super Bowl were not only the New England Patriots, but two other teams. Can you name them? All that plus a whole lot more. This is LidLine Sports. We're back. Rainier Avenue Radio. All right.
Yeah, just go ahead and show.
All right. So we are back. We had a little hiatus last week. And of course, unfortunately, we missed the day after
the Super Bowl.
The victorious.
But wait. Before you keep going on, let me say something. I want everybody out there in TV land, radio land, and every other land to wish this man a happy 65th birthday. He's a brother from another mother, 2502 other brother, but he just turned 65, and I want everybody to acknowledge his birthday.
Thank you. It's been well acknowledged on social media, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you giving me the shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we'll get into the NFL, of course, the Super Bowl and the Seahawks and all that. But you know what? I want to give some other things some props right now. We've got the Winter Olympics going on, and I've actually been watching quite a bit of it. And I can't really comment on too much on who's who and what's what as far as what I'm watching, to be honest. But I do enjoy it. I watch the Winter Olympics. I think I'm beginning to enjoy this more than I do the Summer Olympics. I like to watch the skiing, jumping, the long distance trek on the skis.
Cross country.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the bobsled, the singular, and the team. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. You got the free,
and of course the curling. And there's a little curling controversy with Canada being called out for cheating for double touching the stone.
You got snowboarding, you got skiing, freestyling, you got skiing, slalom, you got there's so many aspects. I'm into the winter sports because I actually skied for years, many years. So but and I that's why I kind of lean more towards winter than the summer. But I love the summer too. But you're right, the winter it's a lot to it, man. Hockey, you got so many aspects of it that are.
Let's give some love to the women's hockey team, because they are doing it big. They have not allowed a single goal in the tournament so far. They won yesterday 5-0. They defeated Sweden, I think it was. Canada defeated Switzerland 2-1. So now the gold medal game is set between Canada, whom U.S. has already dispatched 5-0 earlier. So now look, it looks like it should be a surefire gold medal, right? But this is sports, so you can never underestimate your opponent coming up. Even though we feel that this should be a foregone conclusion. Now what the big thing now is, will they give up a goal? Right.
But you're 100% right, because if you looked at ice skating and the world's top ice skater, he was supposed to projected to win golds, in every event, and in the freestyle he lost. He crashed and burned, and that's why, just like you just said, you never know. So the women they're projected to win, but they can't dismiss that Canada could upset them.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah. So
I mean, they're those ladies are good too, and they've got pride.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they've checked some stuff out and going over some things. Now look, U.S. looks dominant in every facet of the game, so it's going to be very tough for anyone to beat them. But they haven't allowed a goal in 16 consecutive periods, which is phenomenal. So I don't know who the goalie is, but she must be something else.
And their D, I think their goalie is great, but their defense is even better. If you look at the percentage of how many shots that the opponents have taken at the goalie, that'll give you a good indication of how great the women's defense is. And I'm going to go slightly off, but stay on the subject. It's the same with women's soccer. Women's soccer, they're phenomenal. They and it seems like the men's have kind of fell off a little bit, and the women's have risen to the top. It's like incredible.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. I'm loving it.
We got enough men that are men's sports that are, forefront.
Yeah.
And it's good to see the women do so well in sports, period. Not just hockey and basketball and whatnot. I love to see them excel in soccer and curling. All that. It's awesome. And now even women are playing flag football. And they got women's leagues and regular football. So, it's fun. It's a fun watch. And I enjoy it very much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I also want to give a huge shout out to Dawn Staley on getting her 500th career victory for the University of South Carolina. And they also did it by beating LSU for the 18th, which is amazing. 18th consecutive time with a former player for South Carolina with LSU.
One of their key players, not just a former player, but a top player.
Right. So, and she still can't even beat her own team.
No.
So
she gave it a go, though.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
But she can't do it alone, And I'm going to give Staley a shout out because the game they played before the Super Bowl, she was wearing a Seahawk jersey.
Yes. So for Nicky Manwari.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because he's a South Carolina Gamecock. Yep. So she did that. They had a very good relationship. So, and I've not known personally, but I remember when I was living back east, and I happened to live in Philly for a year actually. Dawn Staley was a high school basketball player in Philly, and so that's when she caught my eye, so to speak. And I've been following her and her exploits since then. So it's been over 30 some odd years that she's been on my radar, and I'm so happy and so proud of her. It's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm a big uncle or something.
Wasn't she compatible to Philly's Seattle's Joyce Walker to Philly's Joyce Walker, like that looked at like that in Philly?
Yeah, you could say that.
I mean, and just in the basketball,
right,
not coaching, just in the playing basketball, because Joyce was a phenomenon in high school and college, played at LSU.
Yep.
But Don was a high school and college, and WNBA.
Yep. So Dawn Staley, congrats, kudos to you and your coaching. Now, I mean, look, now you have to look at her as one of the top coaches ever.
Oh man,
in women's college basketball.
Exactly.
That's pretty awesome.
Exactly.
I mean, she's still got a little ways to go to get to the Ariemas and Pat Summits and all that. But her name is
she's right there.
is climbing up the ladder. So that's something. You just don't see it. Years. When you're younger and you see how she's doing, and it's like you don't see this level of where she is right now. You just, it's amazing.
If she gets back to the finals this year again, and even just by getting back, but if she gets back and wins, her name will be synonymous with all the top great women coaches.
No doubt. Yeah. So kudos to her. And of course, over the weekend, we had the NBA All-Star festivities down at the Intuit Dome, where the LA Clippers were the host. And did you watch any of the events of the All-Star weekend?
I watched not a second of it. Okay. Not at all. I didn't watch any.
I didn't watch anything on Friday, so I have no idea what happened on Friday. I did watch All-Star Saturday only by accident because it was 2:00 in the afternoon, and I happened to be flipping channels. Well, maybe it was 2:30. It was like 2:30 in the afternoon. I happened to be flipping channels, and I came across that. It was actually pretty much it was like 5 or 6 minutes in to the festivities. So I just left it on there. I said, well, let me check this out. So I watched some of that. And of course, it was okay. I mean, it was nothing spectacular. All-Star Saturday has just lost a lot of luster to me.
Right.
Now the 3-point, I think, contest has taken over as the main event in my mind. And I think they should save that for last now. I think that should be the grand finale instead of the slam dunk contest. Because look, they're letting G League guys into the slam dunk contest. I have no idea who these guys. I'd never heard of Kashad Johnson before, and I don't mean to slight anyone.
Right,
I don't.
Right.
It's just that I just didn't know. I wasn't aware of him. So you got this guy in the slam dunk contest, and the dunks he did were pretty awesome. Yeah, absolutely. But we've seen these before. It's not. He didn't do anything we haven't seen before. And he didn't do anything that was like ultra spectacular where you like, whoa, it's just not.
Who won it?
Kashad Johnson from the Miami Heat.
Okay. Was Damian Lillard in it?
He was in the 3-point contest.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Was he he was in the 3-point?
Yes.
So because this year?
Yes. He won it.
Who?
Damian Lillard won this 3-point contest.
Okay, because it was weird because I was, flipping channels and I seen him and I thought, oh, that's an old.
Nope.
But he was in it. Okay. And because I blew right by it. I said, because
Devin Booker missed the last 3 shots.
Oh.
And so now there's controversy whether he tanked them
to let Damian
win. Yeah, which I don't think so.
And you know why I don't watch it? I don't watch it until they bring the Sonics back. I'm kind of done with the NBA. I'm tired of all the every year where every 6, not even every year now. It's every 4 months or 6 months, whatever it is, and we hear, oh yeah, there's supposed to be talks or there's supposed to be this and this. I don't want to hear nothing until it's official. I don't want to hear, oh, the board's supposed to be mean. Oh, what's his name? Adam Silver was talking about it. I don't give a crap no more until they actually say these are the 2 expansion teams that come. I don't want to hear about it no more, and I really don't have an interest in the NBA because it's a farce of what they're doing to Seattle this long. Yep. It's a joke.
You got no argument from me, buddy. I'm right with you. But, I do listen to words and phrases, and it's always potentially, or it's or it may happen, or blah, blah, blah. And people just run with, just because it's mentioned. People start running with, oh, now they're starting to put up fake logos on social media and getting ideas of what the uniforms will look like. Calm down.
You remember years ago how you taught me, or got me all in tune and not really taught me, but hooked me up with the knowledge that. Remember how I used to all get all hyped about the before the season, all the this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, or this as far as football, and you were like, man, Carter, man, it's all just talk. Until it actually happens, nobody knows. And so from that point on, I looked at it like that and I said, man, and every year it's like that. We get somebody will say something and then somebody will run with it. And then the next thing you know, it's not going to even happen.
And you see some of every other post is on it now on social media,
right?
Whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever, Twitter, whatever you subscribe to,
right?
So it's ridiculous. I don't listen to Adam Silver for anything. The guy's the king of double speak,
right?
And so I don't pay any attention. I don't get encouraged. I don't get discouraged because I won't believe it until it actually happens.
Exactly.
When you talk all this stuff about, well, they gotta, we're deciding on which teams. He said now he's saying there's more than 2 teams that could be expanded. Look. How watered down do you want this league?
Right.
Or are you saying some other cities will be involved, and then that means there'll be some relocation happening, like Memphis or New Orleans, which should happen actually, because I have no idea why these 2 franchises are still there.
You know what will be a joke though? What will be a true joke? And correct me if I'm wrong, or tell me how you feel. If some of that, they expanded with 2 teams, and but they relocated the Sacramento Kings, after all that malarkey that this.
Well, I hear you, but I think New Orleans or Memphis will be the two
that get relocated.
That relocated before anybody else.
And I understand that, but I'm just saying, wouldn't it be a joke if
it
that
would
happen?
It'd be crazy, but they're doing terrible. Their attendance is awful.
They're a weak market too.
Yeah, they are. To be honest, I thought they never should have left Kansas City.
Right.
You know how many? That was 1985, so that was 40 years ago.
And for folks who don't understand why I feel that way, because when the Sonics had the time, well, not the Sonics, but when Hansen had the chance to buy them and was going to dump all this money and do all this and that, the NBA blocked it. But the NBA's blocked other things before, and it's come to bite them in the behind, Yep. Like what was it, a big Laker trade or something that they blocked? Remember back in the day?
Oh yeah, Chris Paul.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Yeah, so Adam Silver, I treat him like a grain of salt. I don't pay him no mind whatsoever.
Yeah, Stern's stepchild.
Yeah, exactly. So until it actually signed, sealed, and delivered, it's much ado about zero.
Exactly.
So anyway, you know what? Somebody's missing.
Oh, Otis.
Wow, I feel bad because I was like, I didn't even mention him. Man, I'm so sorry.
I was waiting. I thought you knew, but
oh man, it's been a busy weekend, man. It's birthday weekend and trying to catch up with the Winter Olympics because I want to present stuff that you're not always getting the same stuff from us all the time. And so it's good that the Winter Olympics are happening, and we mentioned hockey and stuff like that. So I'm happy about that. But of course, we got a lot to talk about as far as the Super Bowl and the Seahawks and the state of the NFL. So you know what? We might as well get into it right now because there's a whole lot to cover.
Let me ask you a question before you start that. Do you know who's the leading medal count holder in the Winter Olympics?
It's Norway.
Yes. Good job.
Yeah.
Who's second?
That I do not know.
Italy.
Okay.
Who's third?
The host. Third. I know we're not up.
Yeah,
we are third. Okay. Well, that's good.
Norway has 12 golds, 28 total medals.
Yeah.
Italy has 8 golds, 23 total, and the USA has 6 golds and 19 total.
All right, cool. Good job, Mike.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good job on you because you called.
Well, I paid attention a little bit. I did see Norway up there, so. But like I said, that skiing and that stuff is fascinating, and it's so phenomenal. These guys are truly phenomenal athletes, and we could say that because it's not just basketball, not just football. I mean, these people are really gifted, and so I applaud them, and I want to give them their proper notice and respect, flowers, however you want to put it, because they deserve it. They train hard for years to do this.
Since kids,
yeah,
a lot of them started when they were little kids, and but
Excuse
what I like the most that I've seen so far, because I've been following the Winter Olympics real quick, is that I love what I've seen. A lot of the USA athletes, what they said when they were having their videos and their speeches, and they were saying that even though they wear the United States badge or flag on them, they do not adhere to what's happening with the USA. And I love that. I love that they're standing up for the wrong that's being done in the USA. They're here to represent the United States, they said, but they're not in tune or doesn't mean they agree with what's going on in the United States. And of course, then the politics kicked in there. They're going to cry and whine and moan, but who cares? They're telling it like it is. They're being, hey, we're here to represent the USA, but we're not representing what's going on in the USA right now.
Yeah, I got a question, getting back, sticking with the Olympics. There's quite a few Olympic athletes that are born and raised in the US. But however, because their parents aren't, they're immigrants to the US, they choose to represent their parents' country. How do you feel about that?
I'm okay with that because we also have athletes who are born and raised in the United States.
You mean elsewhere?
Well, elsewhere, yeah, but but both elsewhere and their parents were born elsewhere, but they represent the United States because that happens all the time in sports in general. You got it.
Did you just do 6'7"?
Yeah, yeah, but it happens all the time. But I'm for it. I mean, you represent who you feel comfortable representing. If I was to make it that far, who's to say I wouldn't want to represent Germany? My mom was German, so why wouldn't I want to represent Germany? Because I'm half German, and if somebody had a problem with it, that's their problem, But
bam,
I mean, but people can represent whoever they want to represent as long as it's within reason, I mean, but yeah, what do you feel about it?
Same way. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I think it's honorable, actually.
Right.
Honoring your parents like that to me is a great thing. So the parents should be happy and proud of their kids that want to do that. I understand that some parents aren't happy about where they're from, and I'm not going to mention any countries, of course. And then if their children decide to represent it anyway, that's a different story. So that's probably a controversial thing. But I still wouldn't blame the kids for wanting to do that. But it would make it kind of iffy, in that case.
Totally.
Yeah. So anyway, I have no problem with it either way whatsoever. So now we can get back to the Super Bowl.
NFL.
Seahawks defeated the New England Patriots, as everyone should know, unless you're living under a rock. They defeated the Patriots 29-13, and all for the last 2 weeks I've been hearing about the dominant defense, about a lot of people were saying they thought it would be closer. They thought it was a boring Super Bowl. They thought that Sam Darnold didn't have to do much. They're still disrespecting people.
Oh man,
yeah, and then of course, well, you're going to hear that, and then of course, all the memes are coming out with the predictions and then the results after. Just like people are saying, "Oh, I think the Patriots going to win," and then you see the result of what happened. So it's kind of funny. Yeah, it's cool. The Seahawks, to me, I didn't have any doubt whatsoever they were going to take care of business. I did think it was going to be a blowout. I said 34-20. To be honest, I probably gave New England too much credit because I really didn't think they would get to 20, but I just put it out there. New England, to me, is a good team. Their defense is pretty exceptional. I'll give them that. They're not dominant like the Seahawks defense. They're not in that category. But they have good enough players, whereas I knew that our offense might have some struggle opportunities, and which they did. Sam Darnold didn't have to be at his best, and he wasn't. But Kenny Walker had to be pretty much to his best, and he was. Because in order to beat New England, a team like New England with their defense, you need to be able to run. If you can't run, you're not going to have to. You get one-dimensional, as we know. We've covered thousands of times, and being one-dimensional is a problem. And that's what happened to New England. They had no dimensions because they had nothing going on. They didn't have a running game, and they couldn't pass. So they were in trouble right from jump. Let's kick around the notion that Jason Myers should have been the MVP. No, he should not. Ken Walker was the correct and rightful MVP. And if you want to give MVP elsewhere, then you have to give it to the Seattle defense as a whole, because that was a performance of massive educational instruction for other teams to follow as far as how they conducted their defense and what they were flying around doing. Devin Witherspoon was phenomenal with his blitz packages. And of course, and Julian Love getting that interception. But their defense as a whole was just ridiculous. I mean, New England had no shot.
None.
No shot.
None. And now they're whining and they're crying for the team that had the most junk after all them Super Bowl wins with Brady. Now all of a sudden they're the whiners. They want to whine. Oh yeah, the Seahawks, this and this and that. They're trying to downplay how bad they got beat. You know what? When they don't make it back next year, it's gonna make them look even more stupider. Because they're gonna go from having the weakest schedule to having the most power schedule. That's how it happens. You know, one year you have
I think it's top 6 if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they don't go all the way up to the top as far as hard,
right?
But they'll be in the top 6, I think,
right? If
I saw it correctly,
right. And that's gonna hit them hard.
It should. It definitely should. Mm-hmm. But when we come back, we're going to get into more on the game itself. And then I want to get into the aftermath and what the Seahawks have been doing since the Super Bowl win. So don't go away. We shall be right back. Rainier Avenue Radio, LidLine Sports.
Rainier Avenue Radio.
Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy on Rainier Avenue Radio.world premieres every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and is rebroadcast Thursdays at 3 p.m., overnight from Friday to Saturday at 2 a.m., Saturday mornings at 10 a.m., and Sunday evenings at 5 p.m.
A teacher who hurt their back and got prescribed opioids. A daughter trying to cope with a loss in the family. A friend silently struggling, thinking they'll be a burden if they ask for help. People with addiction come from all walks of life. And the truth is they stand a better chance at recovery with our support. Reaching out and sharing local resources can make all the difference. Don't count them out. More people recover with support. Find more ways to help at supportaddictionrecovery.com. That's supportaddictionrecovery.com.
This February, Rainier Avenue Radio invites you to answer the call to conscience. The 2026 Call to Conscience Black History Month celebration is a month-long experience honoring our history, our culture, and our truth. Told by the community, for the community. Join us for powerful exhibits, special tributes, original storytelling, and conversations that connect generations. This isn't just Black history, it's living history. Call to Conscience 2026, presented by Rainier Avenue Radio at the historic Columbia City Theater. Get the full schedule at calltoconscience.world.
Calling all entrepreneurs. Evergreen BizLink is your hub for business technical assistance, tools, and financing 24/7. At the heart of Evergreen BizLink is a free resource navigator connecting you to over 130 nonprofit partners all across Washington state. Evergreen BizLink is a powerful network of business partners ready to support you and your business. Visit www.evergreenbizlink.com, empowering businesses to succeed.
Greetings. This is your host, DJ Naftali, Rainier Avenue Radio.world, the best DJ in the Seattle area. You can catch me every Monday at 8 p.m. on YouTube. Like I said, this is DJ Naftali, the best reggae in Seattle, Washington, the best radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Come on. Right
here with the Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio, and remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update.
The Call to Conscious Museum is open. Tours are currently happening on Thursdays and Fridays, 3 to 7 p.m., and Saturdays and Sundays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your tickets at calltoconscience.world and donate on Venmo at Rainier Avenue Radio. Say that 3 times. Rainier Avenue Radio.world. MC, we are in the middle of talking about the Seahawks victory in the Super Bowl. Did you go to the parade?
I did not. I had to work. Unfortunately, I went to the first parade we had, but I couldn't make this one. And I was, kind of sad, but I'd rather figured I'd make money instead of lose money and just watch some videos of it and stuff. How about yourself?
I did not go, but I was probably about less than a mile away from the beginning of it since I worked down in Soto near the stadiums. My boss had to go because his girlfriend went, so he got roped into going, which was funny to me. But so the good thing about the parade, they had estimated 1 million people showed up, and then there were really no major incidents that happened, which is good for the reputation of the city.
It's excellent.
It's pretty outstanding.
Over 1 million people in one area, and everything went off without a hitch.
Yep. So kudos to that. The new theme could be we're going back.
Could possibly be.
Yeah, because I like what the Seahawks have done since the victory. We all knew that Clint Kubiak was on his way out the door. He is now the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Seahawks have wasted no time. They've already secured 2 coaches, defensive coaches from the Baltimore Ravens, which in and of itself is pretty awesome. Think about this. The Baltimore Ravens, well, before I started getting into that, I mentioned in the opening that there was 2 other losers besides the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. Can you tell me who those 2 losers are?
I cannot.
Okay. One loser is obviously the Minnesota Vikings for the obvious reasons of giving up on Sam Darnold.
I can tell you now.
But a bigger loser is the Baltimore Ravens for letting Michael McDonald leave their organization, head over to Seattle. And now they've already dismissed Harbaugh. And now they've lost 2 defensive coaches that had been with the organization for many years. And this tells me that the respect and admiration that Mike McDonald has is key, because you don't just get guys leaving a successful organization to come to you. Yes, we know that the Seahawks had the most successful season anyone can have as being Super Bowl winners, but it still gives much thought and progress to where this Seahawks team is trying to go and where they are heading, and what they have right now in Mike McDonald, who's only 38 years old, and is building what could be a dynasty. In saying that, because the coaches they picked up, and also the offensive coordinator they've just picked up from San Francisco, Fleury, who was their at last season, there was their tight ends coordinator, but he's also been their run game coordinator, and he's been with them for 10 years. So if you can get a guy to leave an organization after 7 years, 8 years, 10 years plus, that's a kudos. That's a coup.
It's not just coaches though. There's players. There's several players that are real good players that have voiced voiced themselves, and they've said, I would love to play for Coach the Seahawks because I like what's going on there. I see what's going on there. I would even be willing to take a pay cut to go play for them. So when you have players saying that, that are on other teams, that are starters on other teams that are willing to say that. Players are ones that can usually see the vision of, these guys are up and rising and they got something magic and I want to be a part of that.
Yep. And like I said, the Ravens to me are the biggest losers out of the group of three, New England, Vikings, and the Ravens, because they've just lost everything. They've lost Harbaugh. They've lost 2 key coaches. So where are they going? We don't know. Are they going to be the next Cleveland Browns? I kind of doubt it, but you never know. They're going to be struggling for a while, and it didn't have to be that.
49ers lost one of their coaches, and he came to
I just mentioned Fleury. He's coming here,
right? And the players are saying, they asked Kittle and a couple other players, and they said that's a big blow to their organization,
right? And and to come up here, and people look. I mentioned the biggest losers. Well, who are the biggest whiners? Is it the 49ers or is it the Rams? Because each team has done nothing but whine,
the Rams,
and cry.
To me, the Rams are the biggest whiners out of those two.
I think the Niner fans are the biggest whiners, but I think the Rams players are the biggest whiners for between the two teams,
right? For
sure. Because Jared Verse has already come out and said that he hates the Seahawks.
They're nothing special.
Yeah, they're nothing special. Puka Nacua has come out and said that we're not that good.
They didn't do nothing.
They didn't really do anything. Well, you didn't beat them. You couldn't beat them. Well, what are you talking about?
They won the Super Bowl. The biggest game in the NFL player's career is the Super Bowl. And if the players like that want to try to downplay it and saying it's nothing, then maybe they should find another sport.
Hey, listen, trying to give yourself a consolation prize by saying that you gave Seattle the biggest trouble and this and that and the other, who cares? I mean, who came in second in the marathon? Yeah, I don't know either. So, so what the heck? What are you whining for? Just get better. And guess what? Guess where the Super Bowl is next year?
California again.
Yeah. And this time it's in LA. Now, wouldn't that be funny?
But see,
if the Seattle Seahawks go back to the Super Bowl in LA and win again. So that means you win in San Francisco and win in LA. You want to shut up now? I mean, wow, that would be crazy. Of course, that's a big ask. And, it's going to be tough because now you're the hunted.
Every year it happens, though. Every year that New England won all them Super Bowls, they always had an asterisk by them. But until you beat them, it don't matter because they're listed as the Super Bowl champs. All them years Kansas City won, it don't matter until you beat them because all the talk don't matter. In the books, 10 years later or 20 years later, when they look at the stats in the books, it's going to say the Seattle Seahawks, not the Rams, not the 49ers, not anybody else. In 2026, the Seattle Seahawks were the Super Bowl champion. Yep. So if you want to quiet them down and shut everything down, beat them. Other than that, go kick rocks.
Yep. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention John Schneider, who's been the GM of the first Super Bowl with a whole different coaching staff, all different players, and he's the only GM in NFL history to win 2 Super Bowls with 2 different coaching staffs and all different players.
And I'm going to say something real quick because I'm glad you brought that up. Because remember when we were having those turmoil years or those roller coaster years with John Schneider and Pete Carroll? And I used to always say, we used to always try to figure out, is it Pete Carroll or is it John Schneider? And now after 2 years in without Pete Carroll, we know who it was. It wasn't John Schneider. John Schneider was giving Pete Carroll the tools that he needed. Pete Carroll just didn't know how to utilize the tools that he had. And now
didn't get the tools that John Schneider wanted.
Right.
Because Pete Carroll was the one in charge.
Right.
Because Pete Carroll hired John Schneider,
right,
which is probably the smartest thing he's ever done in his life.
Right.
Was hire that guy.
But he still was the president or the head of the players. What do you call it?
Well, he was the head coach and president.
President, right? Whatever. Exactly. Yeah.
So he's the one that hired John Schneider, and so Schneider's still here and won again. and Pete Carroll's not here, and he's out of football right now, and probably should be out forever because that should be it for him.
Yeah, the sales have set, and he's gone.
Yeah. But so I definitely wanted to give John Schneider his kudos. I mean, from the Russell Wilson trade, and getting rid of DK Metcalf as well, and then bringing in Cooper Kupp and bringing in Nick Emanwari in the draft, drafting Gray Zabel, blah blah blah. I mean, the list goes on. Boye Mafe, Shaheed. Yes, absolutely. Getting Devin Witherspoon and Byron Murphy. All these guys we got from the draft because thank you, Denver Broncos, for being stupid. Yeah. And so, where's Russ now? Oh, yeah, he's not in Denver anymore. So the big winner of that trade, obviously, was the Seattle Seahawks. The best GM right now in football, obviously, is John Schneider. And so now I want to get into some stuff where people are still, to this day, questioning Sam Darnold. I'm hearing Ryan Clark saying, I'm going to take 8 quarterbacks before I take Sam Darnold. Oh, really? Well, those 8 quarterbacks were all sitting down this year in the Super Bowl. I don't, what? Here's my thing. I don't care where you're rated. I don't care about power rankings, even though I do give them out. I personally do not care about power rankings. I don't care where Sam Darnold is at the beginning of the season. I don't care. And I've been saying I don't care about a lot of stuff. I said I didn't care who we played. I said that before the playoffs even started. Before the Seahawks even played a game. People were saying, oh, who you want to play? You want to play Philly or something? Man, I don't care. Come up here and get some. That's what I said. And now, what is the Seahawks saying when they get to, on the podium? We did not care. I'm not saying they listen to us, but I'm just saying we are in the program. We are on the right track. So we know what we're talking about here, about the Seahawks and where their path is going.
The fact of the matter, though, is this. A player in any sport, but we're talking about football, so I'll keep it to football, would rather have 2 Super Bowl wins than have 5 MVPs or 5 Player of the Year awards. They would rather have, some of them would rather have 1 Super Bowl win than all the acclimates they got, because having that ring and having that feeling of winning the top of the top game that you play, winning that game means more to a lot of those players than some of the acclimates they give out. So who cares where Sam Darnold is rated or who's better than Sam Darnold?
I don't care.
Let me ask you this. For years, we've been hearing this for the last 5 years. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL. How many Super Bowls has Josh Allen won? So who cares?
Justin Herbert, where's he at?
Right. And who cares? Lamar Jackson. Who cares? If you can't win the big one, can't win the dance, it don't matter. And if you want to say you're better than him in stats, then so be it. I watched that, what you were saying, and I seen where Ryan Clark and Marcus Spears and what's his name? Stephen A. Stephen A. kind of made the most sense out of all of them. But
that segment he did, yeah.
Yeah, in that segment, that's what I'm talking about. But because when they were trying to say Dak Prescott is better than Sam Darnold, I knew something was not right. I was like, wait a minute, where are you going? All the quarterbacks you're naming have not been in the Super Bowl in the last 5 years. So I don't get it. So all that, man, get out of here.
It doesn't matter. It's who's playing the best at the time you need them to play their best.
Right.
And if you're not turning the ball over, which he did not turn the ball over at all in the postseason. As a matter of fact, the Seahawks are the only team in postseason Super Bowl history that did not suffer any turnovers whatsoever on the offensive end of the ball.
Oh, Sam Darnold has.
So I don't care. Yeah. So I don't care what your rankings are. I'm not trying to hear it. I don't want to hear about next year's rankings. I don't care. As long as my guy is doing his job and the Seahawks are still winning, I don't care.
Right.
To me, look, here's my thought. If you won the Super Bowl, you were the best quarterback. I don't care.
Right.
Look, you can yell at me, argue how that can't be true. Maybe it ain't, but I'm saying it is in my eyes, because who's winning? Who's holding up the trophy as the quarterback?
That's right.
Sam Darnold.
That's right.
What's your quarterback doing? Josh Allen.
Yeah.
What? Okay. And Pat Mahomes, where were you at this year?
Yeah. Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Where were you
Lamar
at?
Jackson. Where were you?
Yeah.
You
Justin
guys,
Herbert. I kill him because he deserves it.
He's
trash.
They were in Cancun while we were playing in the Super Bowl.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Brock Purdy.
Who Sam Darnold had to back up.
We were playing. We were having a parade in our hometown, hoisting the Lombardi Trophy while you were in Cancun hosting a drink.
You know, I see Sam Darnold, and I sometimes am amazed at some of the throws that he puts out there. I'm serious. He put one out there to the tight end early in the game that I thought was going to get picked off, and somehow it got through. Now, what I'm thinking, Sam was testing the Patriots, because, look, we all hear the accolades about the Patriots secondary and whatnot. So he put them to the test right early on, and he found out, yeah, they're legit. Mm-hmm. So he didn't try no risky passes after that. If you notice, he didn't do anything risky. He might have overthrew. He missed a few passes. Look, his game wasn't totally on point, but fortunately, he didn't have to be. And that's the way it goes sometimes. Matthew Stafford wasn't on point every game. The first game against the Seahawks, Matthew Stafford was terrible. He only threw for 120 yards, but he's the MVP of the league.
I'm just tired of people saying, trying to make, like I said the last show, I said, if you're against Sam Darnold now, you're just a hater. You're not a true fan, or anything. You're just hating on Sam Darnold. If this is what we get out of Sam Darnold, so be it. I'm gonna roll with Sam Darnold. Keep rolling, Sam. Keep bringing us Super Bowl championships, and the rest will all fall into place. All these other people, they can, like I keep saying, they can kick rocks, but you don't have to be an elite quarterback to be up there with the higher echelon. Who's to say? Now, if he wins 3 Super Bowls, then he'll be in that elite category. But right now, Sam Darnold's just a very good quarterback that is. He adjusted. He adjusted from having. They've even said it when he was playing earlier in the season and he had 4 interceptions at one game.
The Rams. Yep.
Yeah. What did he do after that? That's the key.
He still could have won the game. Should have won the game.
Yeah, but I mean, after that, in other games, he almost won that game. You're right. But after that, he kind of turned the corner each game where he was minimizing. He had a few turnovers in some of the games, but he knew when to adjust, just like in the Super Bowl.
He still had 2 turnovers in the Rams' second game.
Right. But he adjusted,
yep.
And he knew what to do.
And he destroyed them.
Right.
So, look, Sam Darnold might not be an elite quarterback, but he's the perfect quarterback for this team.
Mm-hmm.
For this system. And he proved that. Mm-hmm. And now we got a guy coming in as OC that he's familiar with, because he was in San Francisco when Fleury was there. Mm-hmm. So Fleury knows him. And you gotta think of this. When Fleury was interviewed, do you think Mike McDonald didn't put him through the ringer, as far as, because we know this man has never called plays before. Okay, I know that. But think about this. Mike McDonald is very meticulous and detail oriented, obviously. So you don't think that during the interview process, Mike McDonald didn't have scenarios show him this play, this defensive scheme or that defensive scheme, and say, hey, what you doing here? Do you think he didn't do that? You think he didn't do his due diligence?
Even if he didn't, you got to let somebody start somewhere. Everybody wasn't just.
Oh, I'm certain he did. There's no question in my mind.
Everybody wasn't a head coach before they were given the reins. Our coach, he wasn't a head coach nowhere. He was a defensive coordinator, but he never was a head coach. and it could have went left or it could have went right. And for him, it shows that he can be a great coach. Right. So this guy Fleury that they're bringing in, they know something about him. They must feel some way about him, and you got to give somebody a chance. So why not give him a chance?
And they talked to Sam. They asked him about him. What do you think about him? Mm-hmm. Obviously, because he's the one that's going to be talking to him a lot. So because McDonald is a defensive coach first and foremost, a defensive genius, savant, whatever you want to call him. So offensively, he definitely needs the right person in this system. And it's so quick and so good to me that he knew Ryan Grubb was not the guy pretty quickly. He had to ride with him that first year, but as soon as the year was over, see you later, buddy. You're out of here. Yeah. So I like his decision making. He doesn't take anything for granted. If you're not playing, you're out. Now, the caveat is he can't and has not done that with Sam, because we know that Sam turned the ball over a lot, but he's still stuck with him. So that's the one position he had to stay steady with and calm down and be calm about and not make that quick change. But everything else, we got rid of 2 starting middle linebackers last year. And then Tyrese Knight took over, played well, but when he fell off, he pulled him out and put in Drake Thomas. So Mike McDonald not playing around, as evident.
He rode with he backed Sam even when Sam had the 4 turnovers. He still backed him.
That's what I'm praising him for.
And he said even though he had 4 turnovers, I've seen a lot of good things. So when you have a coach that's riding with you like that,
he knows he's the right guy.
Yeah,
regardless. Mm-hmm. Now look, if he's throwing 4 every game, then he ain't the right guy. Right, Gino. But anyway, so I like that about Mike McDonald. And so look, I'm trusting JS and McDonald. Whatever decision they make, I'm trusting it. Because they've shown to me in the 2 seasons that they could have, look, they should have made the playoffs last season at 10-7, but it was a numbers thing as far as that concerned. It wasn't because they weren't good or they had a bad season. They didn't. They were 10-7. And so, they were still over 500, but it was just tiebreakers that nipped them in the bud. But had they made the playoffs last year, they might have been able to do some damage. Who's to say they couldn't have been all the way to the at least past the divisional round?
They had some things to fix, though, and they fixed them as far as like DK and a couple other players. They fixed those problems and they move forward. Now the big thing is we see this with every team that wins a Super Bowl. What do we see? What's the main thing that you see?
Well, you're gonna lose some
coaches and players. Yep. And it's evident. I mean, it happens. It's just the nature of the beast.
Absolutely.
And I think though that John Snyder and Mike McDonald know that, and they're already prepped for it.
Well, I'll tell you how they know that. Remember, I mentioned the 2 Baltimore coaches they brought in.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is Zach Orr, and I'm gonna tell you right now, he's gonna be the defensive coordinator next year, because Aiden Dirty after next year he's gonna get a head coaching job.
Mm-hmm.
And so you bring in Zach Orr, and he's already waiting.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah,
because Mike McDonald has a vision and he has a plan, and it's not just a right now plan. He's got a down the road plan, and that's what you need for success if you want to build something for long term and not just one and done.
Right?
Because this is not a one and done team. Yes, players are going to change, but the players that I think they're going to bring in with that change, I'm confident will be continue with the continuity of what they want to do. So I can see it. So I'm backing Mike McDonald and JS, especially in the draft and any trades that they make. And case in point in the draft, when they drafted Riley Mills in the 6th round, people were like,
"Who's Riley Mills?
He's hurt." I mean, because they drafted him hurt because he got hurt again with Notre Dame in the playoffs. I think it was the championship he got hurt. When they got beat.
Yeah.
And what did Riley Mills do when he came
He pancaked folks in the Super Bowl. The touted New England Patriots dominant defense, their O-line was getting pancaked. I mean, pancaked.
Especially that left side.
Yes. and so for me, I always say time will tell, but I trust them because look what they went from what the 10 and what was their record year
10-7.
They went from 10-7 to being Super Bowl winners, and they weren't even projected to win 9 games this year. So you have to trust that he is right there. I mean, you know, of course, there's idiots out there that won't believe us. Let me say this before, because we're running out of time real quick, but the Seahawks did not go to the White House in 2017, and now I just heard rumblings that they're turning down the 2026 visit as well. And I commend them if they stick to it, because what's going on in the White House is a farce, and I hope that they stick to it like that we did in 2017.
Yeah, that's cool. That just got announced today that looks like they turned it down.
Mr. Wump is all pissed off, and he'll be up late tweeting tonight because the Seahawks don't want to come see.
Yeah, we're going to take the Space Needle away from you.
It's going to be called the Trump Needle.
Yeah.
I'm not calling it the Space Needle. It's going to be called the Trump Needle. Get out of here, man.
Yeah. Well, anyway, man, I enjoyed my talk here with you. Sorry, couldn't make it. And, you know, we wanted to make up for last week. We couldn't be on because we got preempted. But, you know, it was, you know, special events go on in February, Black History. So, you know, stuff goes on.
Important stuff.
Yeah, important stuff. You know, sports is not all that important in that scope. But thank you for listening. Bill Walker Jr., you showed up. I appreciate you, brother.
Always.
Yes, sir. One of my guys. I love that guy. And so, you know, until next week, we will be back with more sports talk. LidLine Sports, on behalf of MC, Daniel, and O, I'm Pep. So we'll see you next week. Holla back.
Rainier Avenue Radio, your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
A new law is helping people save more money on prescription drug costs. You may also be able to save with Medicare's Extra Help program. Your premium cost can be zero and your out-of-pocket expenses are low. Who should apply? Single individuals earning less than $23,000 a year, or married couples earning less than $31,000 a year. Even if you don't think you qualify, you should still check out this program. Visit ssa.gov/extra help. Medicare costs are covered by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Fellas, your mental health matters, and it's time we talked about it. Join us every Monday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time on Rainier Avenue Radio for the Men's Mental Health Show. Real conversations, real stories, real tools to help you navigate life's challenges with strength and honesty. Whether you're tuning in from the car, the gym, or your couch, this is